Welcome to the Bald Black Nerds podcast. I am your host, the king of the crowbar, Red Hood Wade. And down south or to the Midwest, we have the better Batman, Brandon Grayson. And up, we have the real Sorcerer Supreme, Walk Von Doom. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Yo, cooling.
Wonderful.
Where'd the energy go? Y'all were just sitting there like, y'all were sitting there with throwing heat for about a good 45 minutes.
I shot my load too early. I promise this never happens.
Yo, y'all went in though. Y'all went in. I respect that because I love talking to y'all. It is also great that I'm sitting there like watching you guys in the layup line. It's like, yeah, Scotty. Oh man. So yeah, welcome to the Bald Black Nerds podcast. Finally, we are on iTunes, so hopefully you guys can actually find us on iTunes again. That has been taken care of. But I want to start a new segment. It's gonna be called Brandon's Wrestling Roundup. And so Brandon brought up something. And for those of you who don't know, a lot of women wrestlers have started OnlyFans accounts, specifically because it's an easy way to make more money. Jordan Grace has one. Tony Storm has one. And particularly, Natalya Neidhart's sister has one. And apparently, Ronda Rousey had thoughts. Brandon, take it away.
Oh, that's what you want to talk about in wrestling? Not the real big news?
We'll talk about the real big news right after that. But I
just thought that was funny because Natty was basically like, we were just talking about politics. Natty was basically like, I could just be, hanging out talking about conspiracy theories all day, and because Ronda Rousey, if you haven't followed her, at a point, Ronda Rousey was on that QAnon shit or some conspiracy theory shit for a while, and so I guess she had said a tweeted something about like, don't you think it's weird that like you're doing like OnlyFans porn with your sister? Isn't that weird? Like stepsister porn shit. And so Natty was like, yeah, I'd rather be, support my hot sister's OnlyFans than be on the internet talking about conspiracy theories like a nut job. And I was like, you know what? That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, I got that.
It was about like, I think she talked about like Sandy Hook being fake or something like that. Like it was a bunch of shit she said.
Of course that bitch would say some shit like that. It was either do a channel with my hot sister or bring people to a rock at the back of my farm and cry about conspiracy theories. I chose a sexy sister thing because we might be weird, but at least we're not as hot as your takes on life. We're not as weird as your takes on life. Excuse me.
It is interesting though. Like they be slapping each other in the titties. Like it's some wild shit.
It
on
really
their
is
YouTube page.
It absolutely is. They really do be on some wild shit though.
But hey, I respect that. I respect coming at Ronda. Fuck her.
Yes, she can suck. I didn't know she was Miss Conspiracy Theorist. I don't know.
The real wrestling news, old man. The real wrestling news is that Vince McMahon had to step down as CEO of WWE because
fucking great. The nigga got caught.
Because he paid a woman $3 million to hush up about his an affair, which the reason why he's stepping down is because they're trying to determine if he used company funds to pay this woman or if he used personal funds. Also, because the woman was making $100,000 when she got hired. Then she had an affair with Vince. And then she was making $200,000 after that. And that usually doesn't sit well with a board of directors that you will pay employees double their salary if they fuck you. That's not going to go over well with your board. So,
why else start a company?
Yeah, good point. And so Stephanie, who by the way, this is like Succession. I don't know if any of y'all watch Succession, but Succession is my favorite TV show of the last couple of years. Like it's a fucking amazing television show. But Stephanie had stepped down, quote unquote, 2 months ago. And then the WWE like secretly went to the Wall Street Journal and basically said Stephanie was trash. She was bad at her job. That's why she's gone. Like they just beat her up to the public. And then, miraculously, somehow not too long after that, the board finds out about this paid off mistress in an NDA. And then, when it becomes public, guess who the board votes to bring back as the CEO? Stephanie.
Yes.
And this is all real. This is not a storyline. This is real shit.
Yeah, I really feel like this is like just the ultimate storyline, though. Like, I feel like they're lying to you. Like, I feel like they're trying to bring that feeling back when everybody thought the Undertaker was really like a dead man. Like, they're gonna take this up a notch, bro. Like, he was like, "Yo, you want to heal? All right, I'll give you a heal."
And so apparently, there's more NDAs out there that they're exploring now, and they're gonna find out what those are about. And out of all of that, they did announce that Vince McMahon is going to show up on SmackDown in character as Mr. McMahon. That's his character name, Mr. McMahon. He's going to show up in character to talk about, they didn't explicitly say it, but they basically alluded to, he's going to show up in character to address the news, right? So he shows up on SmackDown last Friday, and this is what he says. He goes, the WWE logo, the WWE intro says 3 words. Together, then, now, together, forever. 4 words, sorry. Then, now, together, forever. And he goes, the key word is together. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to SmackDown. And just walks out of the ring. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. I was like, is this his last time talking in public? Like, what was that? Like, what the fuck was that?
Yo,
like, does he know something's about to go down?
Yes, he knows something about to go down. Also, he's a weird old white rich man. Like, dog, he's fucking delusional, and I love it.
So yeah, might be the end of an era coming up soon. Who knows what the fuck they'll find on Vince McMahon? Because he is an insane person. And so there's that. And then the last news in Wrestling Corner is
can I say something real quick about that?
Yeah.
Would you have sex with Vince McMahon for $200,000?
No.
$200,000? You fucking kidding me?
No, not for $200,000. No.
All right, just asking for a friend.
Although I did hear somebody say this joke, Javi, that made me think of that. The joke was like, "Would you have sex with me for $10 million?" And the person said, "Yes." And then they said, "Would you have sex with me for $1?" And the person said, "Fuck no. What do you think I am?" And then the other person said,
"You are now. We're just negotiating."
Yeah, now we're just haggling over price.
Oh man!
And that's the answer to Javi's question. Now we're just haggling over price. $200,000? No, that's not enough money.
Absolutely not.
But there is a number.
Oh,
there is a number. There is a number.
I don't know. Vince seems just that kind of gross that I don't know. I might.
But technically, Javi, she got $3 million.
Yeah, she got $3 million. Yeah.
I mean, so what's the issue here?
So the issue is, one, it just looks bad, but that shit has happened before. But the real issue is, did he start paying this woman more money because she was fucking him? And did he use company money to shut her up? Because she made us sign an NDA, and part of that NDA agreement is that you get paid $1 million. It was $1 million at the time of agreement and $2 million over the next couple years. So $3 million total. And so, it's illegal to use company funds for shit like that. And WWE is a publicly traded company right now. It's not it's not a private company anymore. It's a publicly traded company. So it's got stockholders. So their stock went down like pretty significantly when all this shit came out. And so they don't want, they got to try to correct that shit. So,
we'll see. Because wrestling is such a wholesome, family-oriented thing.
But that's the thing, old man. WWE doesn't present themselves to be old school wrestling. They're Disney. But Nick Khan, the person who took over WWE, that's his thing, right? His whole thing, that's why they kept releasing all these people the last couple of years and cutting back, because his whole thing was, I want the books to look as good as possible so we can sell this shit to Disney or sell this shit to Apple and cash out, make some billions of dollars and cash out.
My boy, my best friend Diddy has been saying that for fucking like years. Like as soon as he started seeing his releases, he goes, "Oh, they're trying to sell to Disney." That's all he's been saying. And he was saying that when they started doing ESPN, when they started jumping on ESPN, he was like, "Oh, I see what they're doing."
Disney will not buy the WWE.
You say that.
That'd be interesting, Javi. I'm leaning towards Javi, but WWE is very profitable. It's a very profitable business.
But Disney doesn't need it. One, it would just add to their books, and two, the WWE comes with a lot of baggage, bro. A lot of baggage from political to
Disney
criminal.
Comes with baggage.
Nah,
Disney comes with that too.
Nah, not Disney.
Not Disney.
Disney usually doesn't stick their head in this shit.
Nah, not Disney.
Let me tell you, Disney doesn't have that. I see that and Raise You a Song of the South.
Yeah, but that's back in the day, bro. I'm talking about today.
There's not really a lot of baggage with them anymore. There's
That's
not a
what I'm
lot
saying.
of WWE baggage. There's not a lot of baggage with them anymore.
Javi's talking about like Linda.
Yeah, I'm talking about the McMahons, bro. I'm talking about.
But you got to remember, once they like, okay, so Stephanie is now CEO of WWE. That's good. That's good for them, the WWE brand. She's a family woman. Like she's been like, she doesn't have any scandals to date.
Who?
Like, you know what I mean? So Stephanie McMahon.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
but
like,
the problem with that old man is they don't trust Stephanie. The stockholders only trust Vince to run this shit.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think Stephanie's good at her job. So they think, yeah, we got rid of the scandal, insane old man, but now we got the daughter who's not good at her job.
Oh no, I get that. But my point being is if Stephanie being in charge is good is a good look for them if they want to move forward.
Public
That's all I got.
Yes.
The public, as a public face, she is the best person to have them right there.
So
go ahead.
I looked at this just from a business standpoint, and anytime Vince gets screwed, I get a slight chub in my pants.
So do I. I thought this out. I was full on chub. I was like, oh yeah, we doing that.
So it looks like Vince McMahon owns all of the Type B stock.
Yes.
So even though it's a publicly traded company, there's a private portion of that company that Vince owns, and it's the vast majority of the holdings of that company.
It's like 80%.
Yeah, and so it's very interesting, and that's kind of split up between him and his family and other holdings. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. It's interesting that they had the power. Like this has to be big if Vince is stepping down, because he doesn't have to do shit if he doesn't want to.
Well, the quote was, "I'm stepping down while I'm being investigated."
Yeah.
So Stephanie is an interim CEO.
Yeah. Something's happening.
She's not the actual CEO. But in the last wrestling news is apparently Sasha Banks got her release a few weeks ago that we didn't know about, and she'll be a free agent soon. And if AEW does not pay her 7 figures as soon as they're legally able to do, they're morons. And I don't think they're that stupid. I expect to see Sasha Banks there making 7 figures.
I agree, but I honestly think that it would be a waste of her time to join AEW. I think she's proven her worth as a not a social media, what's the word I'm looking for, as a pop culture icon. So I think the smart thing for her to do for right now would be ride that fucking nerd train, man. Do some Star Wars shit, do some Marvel shit. Just be everywhere. Like you know,
but she gonna make 7 figures doing that. Like that appearance she had on The Mandalorian, she probably didn't get paid that much.
No, but I also don't think AEW is going to pay her 7 figures.
And she didn't get paid a little either.
Oh, she'll get paid. Tony Khan's batshit rich. He's paying worse people than Sasha Banks 7 figures.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, and Sasha Banks was making 7 figures in the WWE. He's paying a lot of people 7 figures.
Oh, well,
remember, Jack Swagger is making close to 7 figures over there.
That nigga is ass.
He's Jake Hager now, but he's making close to 7 figures. I think they said like Pac. You remember Neville in the WWE? He's making close to 7 figures. CM Punk, well, obviously CM Punk's making way into 7 figures.
But CM Punk deserves the money he's making.
But Sasha Banks was making 7 figures in WWE, and if Tony Khan can take away WWE's best woman wrestler, because that's who she is, she's the best woman wrestler they had, and put her on their brand to solidify their women's division, oh yeah, she'll get $2 to $3 million a year to go over there.
Well, the funny thing about it is I don't think they'll actually do anything with their women's division anyway. So That'll be what it is. So let's get into
Jade Cargill is dope though. Don't disrespect Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill's also, but that's a whole different story for another time. We can have a whole conversation about her fine ass and how
That's
she's
Bay. That's
slow,
Bay.
and how she's.
Oh, you know Jade Cargill, Javi?
Bro. Listen. That's whatever. I ain't. Yo, no comment.
That's my snoo.
Yeah, facts.
I didn't know you were hip, Javi. I didn't know you were hip.
I think you might have put him on. I think you might have shared something in our group chat.
Maybe
with her one day. And that might have been it.
She's crazy.
She is fine. That is.
She got as Jenni said, she got cheese grater abs.
Whatever.
And that's after having a baby.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yo.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go. No, you thought you had something. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. So she's definitely gonna be in Marvel or something one of these days.
Absolutely. There's no way with the way she's been popping up on social media and pop culture. There's no way in hell Marvel isn't paying attention to this. If she can trust and believe, if Marvel finds out she can act, you can guarantee she'll be Storm.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
It is guaranteed that she'll be Storm.
Yeah.
So speaking of Marvel, me and Javi, I don't know if you've been reading this, Brandon, but they've done Marvel's been doing the What If, and last maybe like year or so, they've been more theme oriented. So like it's like, oh well, this Marvel What Ifs, it's like what if the X-Men, and it would be all centered around like the X-Men or whatever. So it's been cool. And now, so the recent one has been Miles Morales. Love Miles Morales. The first one with Captain America was cool. The second one with the Hulk was ass. The third one with Wolverine was ass. And now we come to the fourth one, which is what if Miles Morales was Thor, right? And so I bought it because like this should be dope, right?
Brave man.
Dog, this shit was a 6-pack of ass. Let me tell you how this shit starts. So they start this series with the narrator rapping.
Okay.
Dog.
Wait, no, I'm not gonna laugh because Thor, the Thor series right after War of the Realms had a lot of hip hop inspirations. You know what?
That's
and
fine.
It works.
But you need to read this shit. It's awful. It's not even good. Like it's and then like he's lacing up his Air Force Ones, but instead of a check, it's a hammer.
Yo, what are those? What are those?
Dog, this shit is so bad. Like there's like he's in Brooklyn. There's like graffiti of there's graffiti on the walls of all his exports. It's like
what do you think about his?
Let me finish. They're talking in Asgardian Ebonics. This shit is ass. This is one of the worst
sounds like
things
that Patriot book.
This is one of the worst things I've ever read. Mjolnir's got graffiti all over it. It says, hold on, let me read what some of this shit says. Like some of the graffiti, one of it says Loki on it. It's like it's like Parkside Block or some shit like this. And then when he grabs it, he goes, hammer time.
Javi's not having it.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
It is booty. Why the Frost Giants? I'm gonna send y'all. I'm about to send y'all a screen cap now. Why the Frost Giants got locks?
I mean, I think they have locks in the regular series too.
No, you guys need to see this. I'm sending it to you right now. That shit is awful. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Speaking of that, what do y'all think about Miles's new uniform? His new costume?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm sending you guys another picture too. Let me not say I don't hate it. I dislike the way the mask comes up. It just kind of seems like it breaks everything up, but I like the costume in general. It fits him a little bit more. I do love his older costume better, but this one's kind of dope. So I'm not going to say I hate it, but I think I just love his old costume so much more that this one just doesn't really hit like I thought it would.
What you think, Javi?
Nah, sorry, I'm looking at this friggin' Miles Morales beating up some urban frost giants, which is hilarious.
One of them one of the frost giants has a fade with a part in the side.
Yeah, bro, those frost giants are dope.
Yo, they really did
the drip is unreal.
So I went to Twitter today.
Again, happy Juneteenth.
So I went to Twitter just to kind of look to see what just for random news. I go to search to see what's going on. I happened to look up and said Marvel's Miles Morales What If issue 4 faces fan backlash due to racial stereotypes. This shit. And then one of them goes, these are why Black people keep asking for Black characters to be written by Black writers and drawn by Black artists. Yeah. That Miles Morales Thor comic is legit one of those reasons. And I don't agree with that statement, but dog, this shit is... I'm not having this I've had this conversation with you a million times. I'm not having this conversation with you because we've seen Black characters written well by white people and it's been fine.
That's cool.
I'm not having this conversation because you even agree with me about how that happens.
That's fine.
My go-to on that is, did you read that Storm book from a few years ago? That was
Which
bad.
one?
It was her solo series.
Oh, no.
That was bad. And that was by a Black person.
Yeah. No,
and did you read that awful Luke Cage one that came out with that shit was not Power Man and America. The Luke Cage
did you read that Falcon book after Secret Empire?
Listen,
when he went back to be a Falcon.
Not all skin folk is kinfolk, bro.
Exactly. It's some unkin folk.
What's the Black Inhuman dude that played basketball? What's his name? He came out a couple of years ago. They gave him a solo book. It was trash. It was written by a Black person. It was horrible. He played basketball. He was Black. He was an Inhuman when they were doing all that Inhuman shit.
I don't fucking remember, dude. I gave up on Inhuman. All that Inhuman shit was just like a blur to me. I don't give a flying fuck about that. Yo, hold it. This is even better. So before the big fight happens, Miles Morales jumps on the table and goes, "All eyes on me."
Mosaic. That's his name. Mosaic.
Hold on. Is this the one? Hold on. Let me share this rhyme with you. That was in this.
Yo, that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Oh no! Hold on. Let me see. Where's it at?
Yo, Tupac is rolling around in his grave right now, bro. If he was dead.
Hold on. Midgard long ago, old Idrisil spread. Then the world tree grew in Brooklyn instead. Immersed as we traverse the universe, from the vast multiverse come this dope verse.
That verse was not dope. That wasn't a dope verse. That verse that was a lie. There's nothing about this that's appropriate. Happy Juneteenth. Listen, bro. Listen, yo. How much kente cloth was integrated into his costume? You're saying he pulled out the A-Train special?
Yo, this shit is ass. Yo, since we're there, I think it's the fantastic segue. Episodes 4 and 5 of The Boys has been released. We go back and listen to I think the previous episode where we did episodes 1 through 3. Oh. I'm sorry, I can't get over All Eyes on Me and that dope rhyme that we heard. But anyway, Brandon, what you think of episode 4 and 5 of The Boys?
I mean, I love the show. I love that Butch was fucking Maeve. I really enjoy that. That made me happy.
Jealous.
Huey is kind of power hungry at this point, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. He's acting like an addict. You know, addicts will be like, "Oh no, I hated it. I didn't like anything about that. That was the worst shit of all time. Hey, yo, let me get some of that. Let me get that real quick."
Yeah.
Which is Huey right now, and he's about to fuck up something good with Starlight. So hope he gets his shit together. Soldier Boy is scary as shit. He looked like he can fuck some people up, including Homelander. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I heard somebody, there was a bunch of people thinking that Homelander's going to die, and they're going to have Soldier Boy be the villain for the rest of the season. And they're going to keep Anthony Starr on by doing the thing that we saw in the comic books, which would be interesting to keep him around. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting theory.
That theory is fire.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I'm all for Jensen Ackles staying on because he's been 10 out of 10. Like,
and then my last thing, the legend, old man, the legend.
The legend. They picked the perfect person to play him too. So, hold on. Let me see if I can pull his name up.
Who are you guys talking about?
It's Paul. I forget his last name.
Oh, the legend. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's
Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser, yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. He fucked all of Hollywood, yo.
Yeah, for real.
Clearly.
He was like, gay, straight, who cares? Fuck you.
It was like I was deep in her. Marlon Brando was deep in me. What's that, gay now? Whatever.
he didn't give a shit. His whole thing is like, we fucking or not.
It's like I was like, I got him to take 5 points off the deal. So who fucked who?
Yo,
the legend was dope.
Yo, and it was perfectly. And it was funny because for those of you who don't know, the legend is loosely based off of Stan Lee, and I didn't think that they would go as far as to make him to bring this character to the show. But I love how they did it because he wasn't anything like Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. He was just something completely different. And
but he was an OG and he was respected by everybody. So
yeah. Oh yeah, OG. That's the perfect way to put it, Hobby. He was the OG, and everyone respected him for it. But straight up and down, like he was something else, man. I have no complaints about that. And I'm gonna make a statement here. I'm pretty sure Brandon has been waiting. Brandon loves these 3 words. What are those 3 words, Brandon? Brandon was right. I hate to say this, but the Boys TV series. The Boys TV series may be better than the comic book.
Was that in doubt?
For me, it was. It absolutely
was. Even after like the first season?
Yeah. Absolutely. It was in doubt for me for a while, man. But there's something about this. We know what it is about this series. And don't get me wrong, I still think the Butcher in the comic books is better than the Butcher in the show, specifically because the Butcher in the show isn't as devious as Butcher in the comic book.
I think they're 2 different characters.
Thank you for saying that.
They're totally 2 different characters, bro.
Avi, that is exactly the point, that they are legitimately 2 different characters. One works better for the platform that it's on. The other one just doesn't work anywhere else but in Garth Ennis's crazy ass mind.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but I still love the comic book. I would think The Boys is still probably in my top 10. I don't know if it's in my top 5 anymore, but I do think it's in my top 10 favorite comic books to read. It's definitely, if you're a comic fan, I definitely think it's a must read. But you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely, I have to admit that it's better than that. So,
and the comic books, Maeve was fucking a legend.
Yeah.
And now she's
fuck a legend, and they had a kid.
Well, I'm enjoying this. This season is just,
it's fire.
Top friggin' notch. Like, I love how Homelander is just breaking down. Like, he's struggling, and I love, again, you know me, I love the subtext in this show. I love the deeper meaning behind everything they do. And there's this idea that's played out in reality often, that the idea of the mediocre white man that gets in over his head because of his undue confidence in the fact that society thinks that he knows what he's talking about. He gets into the office setting or wherever it is, he gets promoted, and he fucks everything up because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he stresses the fuck out, divorces his wife, fucks his secretary, gets addicted to fucking alcohol. Shits all over his life, and yo, you can just see
Herogasm.
And then goes to Herogasm and just but I love it. And the actor who's playing Homelander,
Anthony Starr.
Yeah, Anthony Starr, bro, he is fucking great. There's nothing mediocre about this man
at all.
He is fucking amazing. The range of emotions he's showing, without saying anything. Like the fact that he was able to make Homelander so scary, like just so scary and intimidating, and now you kind of pity him, right? You're still terrified, but you're just seeing him crack under all this pressure. It's fucking beautiful. I love it. It's art. It is cinema.
I like that word.
Cinema.
So one of my favorite things about episode 4 was the conversation Stan Edgar had with Homelander, because that shit was pulled right out of the comic book. When James Sitwell was talking and Homelander was like, I'm going to kill you. And he was just like, yeah, can you please get it over with? And Homelander was like, oh, well, I did all this. She goes, kill me now. Well, I'm going to kill me now, please. And he was just talking to him because he was like, fuck you, Homelander. I don't care about you. And it was funny because Stan Edgar said the same thing. He goes, I don't care about you. He goes, you're just bad product. And then just walked away. He turned his back on arguably the scariest superhero we have ever seen, because some people are just scary in a sense where they're physically strong, or their abilities are so or on such a power level that you can't really comprehend. Homelander now has money, he has superpowers, he has regular powers, and he has the backing of 98% of the world. What kind of not 98% of the world, but he's got an approval rating of like 98, of like probably him alone. I think it's probably like 90%, and that's only going to get higher. Like he has become the
no. It's over 90% with him and Starlight.
Okay,
as a couple.
So, yes, but I don't know if we've ever seen somebody with that much power. The closest person I want to say is probably Lex Luthor and Norman Osborn. But even both of them didn't have the physical.
No, it was Injustice Superman.
Here's the thing about that though. If you just follow the law and kind of just don't bring up the Joker, he won't kill you. Homelander might walk up to you and then fuck you in the back of the head and kill you just because he can do whatever he wants.
Justice Superman was getting kind of crazy, but I think the biggest difference. Let the story continue. The biggest difference between Injustice Superman and Homelander, I think, is that Homelander, I think is more sympathetic than Injustice Superman. Homelander wants to be loved, yo. He was raised like he had no choice but to be that. He is, 1,000%. And he's clearly not like racist, right? He's clearly like his motivations are clearly all narcissistic and self-interested and based on the need for anything to just love him, despite the fact that he's a monster. Because we're also learning that these heroes are all kind of scared when it comes to their powers, and I don't think Homelander's any different. I think he's terrified about his powers and what he can do.
I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for Homelander. A little bit.
I have zero.
But that's kind of went away. I mean, did you see I was talking to Silver Kincaid in Supersonic? And he started talking. He did the tacos thing.
That was hilarious. He's an asshole, bro. He's a piece of shit. That is hilarious, bro.
He fed the deepest friend.
No, that's the type of petty. Because I think it's just off of pettiness, bro. It's off of like, yo, what's gonna fuck these people up the most? Because what's her face? His Nazi girlfriend there, Stormfront was saying, oh, we're gonna make a master race, beautiful white babies. And he's like, no, I'm the master race. Like, what do you not get from that? I don't care about color. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is just a scary, fucked up, scared little boy wrapped in the power of a billion suns, bro. And it just makes it so fascinating to me.
I have no remorse from. Like I said, like Brandon did.
Yeah,
I
no
did once
remorse.
upon a
He's a piece
time.
of shit, but yeah, you're
But
right.
like when he like seeing like what he was and how he was created and him not having any real emotional. He was raised not to really. He was raised to be a hero, not necessarily raised to be a person. Like he was supposed to be an object, a weapon. Like he wasn't supposed to have any like real anything. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that he would be the person that he is because he was never taught anything else other than truth, justice, and the racist American way. You know what I mean? So it kind of makes
about
sense.
A-Train, old man. Javi was talking about that before we recorded.
I wanted to
about A-Train.
Javi, you start the A-Train subject because you got it. You went in on it before we started recording.
A. Clarence Thomas train. A. Orenthal Johnson train.
I'm not black. I'm A-Train.
Yo, A. Uncle Tom, Coon Daddy. Yo, like honestly, like I don't know. Like this is another example of great casting because the guy that plays A-Train has the most punchable face ever. Like he has a certain smugness to him that's just like I just want to punch this guy right in the face, and he does some of the work. Like Starlight said it exactly, and it's crazy that he got it from a little blonde girl from Middle America who grew up in the church, but she said it precisely.
Played by Jesse Usher.
Great actor. He's doing work. But Starlight said it perfectly. Why do you work so hard to be around people that hate you?
Yeah. For real.
It makes no sense to me, bro. Like I never
Blue
understood.
Hawk shit was hilarious.
Yo, that shit was crazy.
Soup lives matter. I was like, yo, they really got
That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, that shit was great, man. And the fact that his just cowardness, his just this spinelessness caused the type of damage that it did is just a suitable lesson for him, man. It's just unfortunate that his brother had to suffer.
You know, the funny thing about it is he got a similar lesson in season 1 when he couldn't run, and the mall security officer was just walking around trying to follow him, and he was like, "You know who I am?" He was like, "You know who I am?" He goes, "I don't care who you are." He goes, "I'm A-Train." He goes, "Yeah, whatever." And he had to show him ID, and he was like, "Oh, da da da." And you'd figure that plus what he went through in the last season with no one caring about him except for Starlight and Huey, that he would be a different person. So then when I saw that preview, the trailer, when they first started, I'm like, yo, A-Train did not just give someone an energy drink to calm the police down like Caitlyn, like that, Kendall. Like one of those Kardashians. Thank you.
Yo, none of the soups are having a good time. None of the soups. Homelander's
having a fucking ball.
No, he is not. Homelander is his stress level is to another level, bro. Like you could just see he's about to snap, and not because he's crazy. Stan Edgar said it perfectly. Like you got what you want. Hope you enjoy it. He knew exactly what Homelander was putting himself into. The Deep has never like. They will never let this character be able to get over what he did in that first season. Everything that's happened to him, he's in hell right now, and I'm loving it. Right? A-Train, yo, he's a piece of shit. His life's a piece of shit. He can't even run anymore. Maeve, yo, Queen Maeve, she wants to kill herself.
Yeah,
like none of these heroes, other than maybe Black Noir, but then his story, what they did with his story is fucking crazy. I can't wait to see.
I love how they're kind of hinting on the stuff that happened in Diabolical.
Yeah,
when Homelander and Black Noir first got together, and we don't know what Black Noir said to Homelander to get them to stop fighting.
Yeah,
but whatever it was, we can say it basically came to the point like, I got your back as long as you got mine.
Yeah,
and unless people forgot, Black Noir owed Maeve a receipt for that shit she did to him when he basically almost killed him because of his peanut allergy. So you know what I mean? He owed her a receipt. So I was pleasantly surprised that the boys show always seems to remind you that they're paying, not only are they paying attention to the fans and the source material, they're making sure that everything that happened in previous episode or season comes back.
What do you think about Ashley kind of feeling herself as CEO?
I love it. I fucking love it. I love everything about it because she's very similar to a character that was also on The Boys, the one that Jason Sitwell ended up fucking. So I like what they're doing with her specifically because she's becoming more than just the pushover. And I like the fact that she's finally learned to feel herself. And when she pulled out the Homelander dildo and was like, "Are you a stupid fuck?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a stupid fuck." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, all right, Peggy Carter.
Do you think Kimiko gets her powers back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
100%.
I think she ends up getting her powers back because something's going to happen to Frenchie, and her options are get her powers back or Frenchie dies. I think something like that is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Or her healing factor is just going to kick back in because we've seen it with Deadpool. We've seen it a few times with Wolverine where something happens and their healing factor just needed time to reboot itself. I think we're going to see something similar to that coming up.
Is Herogasm on Friday, old man, or is it next Friday?
Herogasm is this Friday.
Oh, that's going to be crazy. Yeah.
Y'all are not ready. So what are your expectations? I have a couple questions. First, we'll start with this. Brandon, what are your expectations for Herogasm? Just as a fan of the show, not the comic book, just a fan of the show. What are your expectations for Herogasm?
Well, I know it's not going to be the comic book, and it shouldn't be. So I expect it to be like some type of like sex resort that they end up going to. I expect the boys to show up and be like appalled by this shit. I'm interested to see if Starlight shows up or not. That part I'm interested in. I do think we get the comic book thing though at the end of Herogasm, where Homelander gets all the soups together to kind of make a play. I think they're building towards that.
I agree.
I am really interested to see if we see other soups from the comic books make guest appearances. I really want to see Tech Knight. I really want to see some of the G-Men. Like I want to see some of the other soups from the books that we haven't seen just show up at this thing.
But you, Avi, what are your expectations?
I think one of the twists would be that this may be the first Herogasm in this universe. And it's something that Homelander's going to set up now that he has his new... It's going to be one of the many ways that he screws up what Vought had, like, meticulously put together for the heroes to kind of have some type of control. But it's going to represent, like, the loss of control. Honestly, I think there's no reason why it's not going to be just as crazy or even worse than the comic, because this season started off with somebody shrinking down into somebody's dick hole, massaging the inside of his dick, and then exploding out of his dick hole into a massive rain of blood. So if you're starting the season off with that, if that's what you're starting off with, Herogasm is going to be fucking ridiculous.
So there's a scene apparently. And Jensen Ackles was on like an interview or some kind of panel. He was talking about, he sat down and he saw one of the cameramen sitting there eating a sandwich, and he had his mask down for a second. And Jensen Ackles goes up to him and he goes, "I'm not saying I was in this scene," which is going to be my next point. And the cameraman goes, "Holy fuck, man, I've just seen some shit." So, and he said he wouldn't say whether or not he was in that scene or not. But I'm like, maybe.
Because they're not going to do the Homelander Soldier Boy thing.
Why not?
Honestly,
why not?
What's his face already said that they're not doing that.
No. They may not. It may not be that kind of thing. Like not as graphic as that. But I do think they end up like kissing, or they hint that they fucked or something like that.
Instead of Huggy getting fingered by Black Noir, Homelander gives him the Dougie after he takes some of that temporary V. He gives him the work.
Oh, I'm like, what the fuck is the Dougie?
He gives him.
And we're not going to get Black Noir and Huey. Like that's not going to happen.
No, that's definitely not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense now. In the comic book, it made sense because it led to because Black Noir was trying to get caught. Like, you know what I mean? So it's a little different now. Like, since Black Noir's like, you know, he's trying to.
But we don't know. But we don't really know his motivations because we kind of we're only starting now to see his motivations with that flashback, and we know that there's some racial resentment somewhere around there with his whole identity. So we don't know. He has a story to tell. I think we have yet to know what Black Noir is up to.
You're not wrong, Hobby. I can't disagree with anything you just said at all. What do you got? So my expectations, I think it's going to be good. I think a lot of people are going to be going in expecting like nothing but debauchery. And I think that was part of the reason The Boys has done as well as it has, is for all of the raunchiness that you see, there's always a point to it. So with this situation, I think we're gonna start off. I think we're gonna get the Homelander thing where he goes, "All right, everybody, let's fuck." Like, you know what I mean? I think we're gonna get that scene. There's no way that doesn't happen. I truly believe that I'm on two minds about this. I kind of agree with Javi about this being the first Herogasm. And whether it is or it isn't, I think we're going to get that speech where he goes, "We have to leave Earth to fight this thing," and blah, 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 blah. And then come to find out they're just in some resort off the coast of like Miami. So like, we are going to get that. So I'm expecting a lot to go down in this, and I honestly can't wait. I'm going to say this. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Homelander's dick in this. Anthony Starr doesn't really seem like that person who gives a shit about nudity, so I kind of think we're going to.
I disagree only because they didn't show it in that scene when he was jerking off over the city.
Oh no, I agree, but I don't think it would. I don't know if you can show ejaculate, like someone like jacking off and doing stuff like that. I think that's one of the things that makes it like gives it a higher rating. But I do believe
when can you show ejaculate? Oh man, like when is the appropriate time to show ejaculate? I'm curious because my ejaculate quota. I don't know. I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure I don't reach that by the end of the year.
Whatever your ejaculate quota is, as long as I don't have to see it, I don't give a fuck. I'm also one of those people who doesn't mind dick in my porn, so there's also that. But you know, this ain't the old man wage show, so we won't have that conversation.
Ejaculate.
I wish I could name this episode Homelander's Ejaculate.
I mean, you can.
It's gonna get censored all to hell. Okay. I mean, it's a real word. Isn't it the technical term for it? Is ejaculate?
It's not a curse word.
You're trying to defend it to yourself.
Yeah.
Homeland. Yeah, I'm calling this episode Homelander's Ejaculate. And listeners, if it's not named that, you know why. Yeah. So far, what has been so far? Who y'all's favorite characters on the show? Javi, you go first.
I say this last episode, and it continues. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw a twist in here. I'm gonna say Homelander right now. Homelander is probably my favorite character at the moment. Just his character development is I mean, it's hard to like. There's a reason why characters like Superman are so hard to develop. It's just because we all know their story. We all have an assumption of where they want to go, where we want them to be. Like he needs to be this or that. Homelander.
Their ejaculate.
Exactly. Homelander just wants to suck on some breast milk and rule the world. And just have the world love him. Not even rule the world. He doesn't even want to rule the world. Ruling the world is his end game. If everything goes wrong, he just wants to be loved. You know, that's it.
Really, and what it is. It's really just about the love.
Yeah. And he's just doing it the most toxic, horrible way possible. It's fascinating.
I honestly forgot about him drinking the breast milk from Stillwell.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that.
I'm so pissed they wasted Stillwell on that, because Stillwell was actually probably my favorite character in the Boys comic book, because he was just so fucking good and calm at everything and just did not give a fuck. And it was funny at one point, and they brought this up in that conversation that they had where Homelander's talking to Stanley Edgar, and he goes, "Oh my God, look at that." He goes, "In the face of danger, and you're still 60 over 80. I think I met my first superhero." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny that he brought that right off the comic." But anyway,
do you think he's coming back, old man?
Absolutely.
Edgar, this season? You think we see him this season?
That's a tough one. I don't think so. Well, put it like this. I think we will see him again, but I don't think he'll be. It won't be in a bot capacity. I feel like it'll be him having a conversation with Victoria Newman. Brandon, are you still rolling with you still rolling? Your favorite character still the same as last time around?
My favorite character is Butcher because I love the way they're doing Butcher here. Yeah. Because I know exactly why you love Butcher in the comic books, but that's exactly why I don't like him. I think he's over. Like he's like a caricature in the comic books. Like he's just so debaucherous and evil, and that's the point of the character, obviously, in the books. Yeah. But I like how, like, even the last couple episodes, it's like when Huey wanted to take the Compound V, right? When Huey's in Mother's Milk, MM's there, and it's Huey, and he's like, "Give me one, like I want one," and you can see in Butcher's face the like, should I do this? Should I let him go down this path? I know I should let him go down this path, but I really want to fuck with these soups. And he's just like, let the lad choose what he wants, right? But you can see the conflict in him in those situations. I feel like Butcher in the comic books would have been like, fuck, take this shit. Like, all of y'all, get on this shit. Let's do this shit type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, but like obviously it's a different character, but I appreciate the conflict in these characters. Like it's just so interesting to me.
I loved the first thing that popped in my head when Butcher was talking to Huey about it was that scene from Walk Hard, Dewey Cox. Like, get out of here, Huey. You don't want no parts of this shit.
What is that?
It's Compound V. It'll give you powers. You don't want none of this shit.
I think I do.
You don't. It's awesome, but you don't want no parts of it. Yo, that was the first thing that popped in my head. The boy is a Huey Cox story. So far, and it may be my Jensen Ackles bias, but Soldier Boy has been my favorite character because he is such a piece of shit. And I love the random clips of him, like him at the Gold's Club with the solid gold dances and all that. Mm-hmm. The man from Mars. And then just seeing how awful he was to his teammates. And then, like, he's hurt. He legitimately thought that the Crimson Countess loved him. And when he was like, how much? She was like, nothing. I was like, damn. Like, that's real hatred. So I
loved his reaction to, like, him coming into this new world. Like, he was already a piece of shit in the 80s, and then he comes into this new world and he sees the changes, like the rainbow flags and like the openly gay couple, and like just his reactions to those were kind of funny as well.
Maria said this, Valkyrie said the same thing. I thought that his reaction to it wasn't disgust. I think it was just shock. Because let's be honest, we know Soldier Boy was fucking dudes. He was fucking everything he could.
Oh yeah, facts. Yeah.
So I don't think it was disgust. I think it was more shock.
Yeah. Did I say disgust? If I say that, that's not what I meant. I meant more like.
Or maybe I misquoted you. I could have misquoted you though, so it could have been me. But I loved it. So Soldier Boy has hands down been my favorite character so far, and I love it. Moving on to Miss Marvel. I'm shocked we haven't talked about this before. But before we get into the controversy surrounding Miss Marvel, Javi, what do you think about the show so far? We've talked about it off air, but what do you think about it? Like now that we're like on air and speaking on it.
I like it. It's different. It's not something you usually hear from Marvel shows, but it's definitely different. Much different tone that we've been getting recently. Almost opposite. Marvel's been the MCU's been going a little bit darker, a lot more violent. And Miss Marvel definitely seems to be catered towards a younger crowd, but at the same time, it didn't dilute it at all, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's just as entertaining, and I'm excited to see how far it goes and how much we learn about the MCU, the cosmic parts of the MCU, which I think this is probably going to address.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on it so far?
I love Miss Marvel. It's so dope. It's like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World meets Marvel. Love it.
I never thought about that. So me and Javi had a conversation about this off air, and I just want to say I mirror your guys' thoughts on it. I love it. When I told Javi about it, I was like, yo, this is the future of Marvel. I think this was an experiment to see how people would react to it, which is something we're going to get to in a second. But I love the innocence of it. I love that this is like, the Marvel's giving us something. And back to what I was saying before, me and Javi had this conversation after watching episode 1, and we had the same feeling in episode 2. Is Miss Marvel is everything Naomi should have been. Like that is honestly the best way I can put it. It's the representation is there, the history about the Muslim religion, and Javi, what was it called with Pakistan, and when all of them, like the war that was going on with Pakistan and India were one?
Partition. So
yeah.
So India and Pakistan was one country, and due to conflicts that were sparked and fanned by British colonialism, Pakistan and India separated, and that border region is probably one of the hottest, most dangerous regions in the world, and it definitely is one that involves nuclear weapons, and there's a lot of bad history, a lot of families separated, and a lot of animosity that came out of that whole situation. And it's crazy the way they addressed it. It's very respectful.
Exactly. That's the best word to put it, because it wasn't one of those things where they went really heavy handed, and which is funny considering the conversation that we had in the layup lines about being heavy handed with certain things and explaining tough subjects in a way that everyone can easily understand. I was happy that Marvel went about it in a way that it may make people want to learn more about it. And I thought that was cool, because the first thing I did was I looked it up. I was like, oh, what is this? And then I went to Javi. I was like, yo, Javi, blah, blah, blah. And so everything that he just said, he spoke to me about when we talked to person. So I love a lot of that stuff that's going on. I watched this, and I'm even more disappointed in Naomi, because it could have been so much better. I think they had a really good cast. I think they had the right character, and I've never seen a show drop the ball harder than they did with Naomi.
Mm-hmm. I was going to tell you that the other day, I'm like, Miss Marvel is a better show for Black girls than Naomi.
It is. And it's crazy. It is. And I can't get over the fact that Naomi started off so slow, and it ended up the last, we'll say 60% of the show was good. But at that point, people aren't going to keep throwing back in. This is how bad it was. I was covering it for the website I write for, and I didn't watch the last episode because I didn't have to. I was like, okay, so my obligations are done. I don't need to say anything about this. I'm not watching this shit. And Brandon knows I went through 4 fucking full seasons of Black Lightning.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that shit.
You know what I mean?
He was on it too. Like he'd be excited about his Black Lightning episodes.
You're a much better person than me.
Oh, dog! I think we should. I think all of y'all. I think we should do the thing, Brandon, that you did with your show. I think the 2 of you guys need to watch the final episode of Black Lightning with no context of what happened.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine doing that.
Yo, Brandon, please, for the episode next week, please do that. You do, Javi. But what are some things that shocked you about the show in general? Besides, is there anything about the show that you looked at and goes, wow, I didn't expect to see something like this?
Sorry.
Oh no, good, Javi, you go.
I think the crazy part about it is that if I had to imagine a Miss Marvel show based off of like what I like about her in the comic book and what I like about the MCU, they essentially did that. Like it met my expectations, and honestly, that's at least for now. It's definitely it's met my expectations, and in a lot of ways, it surpassed them. Hold on one second here.
Brandon, while Javi's moving away real quick, what are some things about that you didn't expect to see that was happened that you're seeing now?
I think it's interesting that they said that her power is coming from within and not from the bangle.
Yeah, so, I thought that was super cool.
I don't know if they're saying that she's a mutant or they're saying that she's an inhuman. Or
that's a very good pickup right there. Again, like that's another thing. I think this show has a big opportunity to really expand Marvel, the MCU, which is
a lot of people hate the Inhumans. So I don't know if they want to go down that route again. But I personally am and will forever be a stan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of one of the two greatest comic book shows ever to be created. And so I love what they did with Inhumans on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so if you could replicate that somehow in the official MCU, I would love it. I want to see Daisy Johnson come back. Same. I would love to see Mr. Hyde in the Thunderbolts. That'd be cool.
So he was the dude who played Mr. Hyde in Inhumans. Like he was for a while, he was my favorite character on that show because the dude who was acting, who portrayed him, duh. And I hate this phrase, chef's kiss good. Like he was like, I was watching this and I really believed that he could lose it at any point in time. But I also enjoyed the fact that he truly loved his daughter. Like, you know, there was just so much about that show that was really good. And I wish I didn't step away when I did, but I could always go back and watch it.
You should.
So apparently Miss Marvel has gotten a lot of bad reviews. It's one of the lowest rated shows. It's actually, I think it's the lowest rated Marvel Comics show since on Disney Plus, I say, excuse me. Why do y'all think it is?
I mean, we know why.
I mean, yeah, but like, you know, we got a show to do, so.
It's just been review bombed by terrible people. Saying they have the Captain Marvel.
I'd say 90% of the bad reviews, probably higher, is that just trolls and fuck their opinions. But I do think it would have gotten some bad reviews regardless. Again, just because it does kind of deviate from the general Marvel formula, you know, and it's a little bit more teeny bopper, you know, and some people might I know people would be kind of turned off by that, but I think for the most part, the fact that it has such a low rating definitely proves that the vast majority of those ratings, given how good it is, just on the merits, proves that people are just hating on it, regardless, even if they're just being assholes, even if they're just thinking like, oh, this is woke, trying to be woke America, blah blah blah, like, yo, fuck y'all. And don't forget Disney is beefing with the Republicans right now too, so
you know my favorite thing about everything you said, Javi, my favorite thing about that is those same people who are upset that it deviated from the typical Marvel stuff are the same people who complain that they get the same thing from Marvel every time out.
You can't make anybody happy.
Which goes back to our original conversation during the layup lines about fucking people not really knowing what the fuck they want and like just blindly following things. Because I'm gonna say it again, the show's fucking phenomenal. I love it. Like I look forward to watching Miss Marvel every week.
There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah.
It's beautifully executed.
Yeah, I got nothing. Before we get out of here, it is Pride Month, and I just want to talk to you guys and ask who your favorite LGBTQ plus comic book characters are.
For me, it's Harley Quinn. I love Harley Quinn. I actually read Harley Quinn until recently. I haven't read the most recent one, but I've been reading Harley Quinn for years. Love Harley Quinn. Iceman.
One of my favorite moments, Iceman telling Fin Fang Foom, don't come around here disrespecting my Omega level ass ever again.
Yeah, I like yeah, that's true. But yeah, Harley Quinn and Iceman are my two favorite. I like some Wonder Woman books, and then other Wonder Woman books I can't stand. So there's like this mix with her.
Understandable. Super Bowl. You want me to go first, or you got somebody?
I feel like me and you have the same person.
I doubt it.
Got it.
Because I have a couple, so you go
Right.
first.
I'm gonna say Deadpool. I'm gonna say that because I feel like me and him have like the same like gender identity. Like I'm not into guys, but I don't really see like to me it's does everything's a spectrum. Like it doesn't matter. Like the whole idea of like gender identity and different sexes and shit doesn't make sense to me, bro.
Yeah,
Like
you could thank Christianity for all that.
yeah, man. Like it, like from a biological standpoint, like yeah, we gotta like make babies and shit. But yeah, there's enough of us fucking separate genders to make babies for people to be able to fuck who they want and be happy. So I don't know. I fuck with Deadpool's whole idea about yo, let's fucking be free, bro.
Yeah. My favorite Deadpool, one of my favorite Deadpool moments with his sexuality is Thor comes up, rolls up on him, and he looks Thor dead in the face and goes, "I find you very attractive." There was no like shame in it. He goes, "Did I say that out loud?" and then somebody said something. He goes, "Oh, thank God, I'm safe." But and when he was married to the succubus, they had an agreement, like the one that they could have, right? And Deadpool said Thor, and she goes, "Only if Thor's a woman." And he was like, "Ah." So when Thor became a woman, he hit on Jane Foster. It was great. So I'm gonna go a little off the wall here. I'm gonna go with Midnighter. That dude, that dude does not give a flying fuck about anything or anybody when it comes to his sexuality. I saw him put the moves on the moves on Dick Grayson. I was like, yo, it's like you just gonna shoot your shot every chance you get. He wasn't like overly aggressive about it, but he was basically kind of like, I think Dick Grayson was like, okay.
I'm good.
Dick, so yeah, like Midnighter's high on my list in terms of LGBTQ plus characters. I've actually been doing one a day since we started. So if you guys want, sorry, I had to text the wife. If you want, I'll go down the ones I have now that I've done this month so far. I'll go reverse order. I have had Sojourner Mullen. She's Malayan or Malayan. She's the Green Lantern in space. Wolverine's son, Akira Dakin, if you don't know. Hulkling and Wiccan, Mystique, John Kent, Superman, Tim Drake, America Chavez, Poison Ivy, and did I put Poison Ivy twice? I think I put Poison Ivy twice for accident. Oh no, something different. Alan Scott, Javi's Boy, Star-Lord, Constantine. There's more. So yeah, I made sure like I made it a point to like put a lot of like put that on there. And I'm trying not. And then don't get me started on the other comic books like Paper Girls that did a really good job of discussing sexuality when it comes to like finding yourself in it. Oh my God, Saga. Who is what's the horned trans woman in
Gwendolyn.
Saga?
Oh no, not Gwendolyn.
Not Gwendolyn.
Oh, you're talking about? Oh yeah, I forget. Pietor. It's like Pietor or something like that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And there's Prince Robot the 4th or the 5th. Like I love like his explanation about that because he can make because his body's so malleable. And he was saying like if anybody understands what that's like to be fluid, and they develop this loving relationship. And it's the first. I won't get into it more, but we gotta have a whole full Saga episode because Saga
and the reporters.
Oh my God, and the reporters, yeah. Like Saga may be one of the best when it comes to representation. I don't know if anyone's done it better than Saga. I don't think anybody's ever done it better than them. Like it's like that fucking good. All right, before we get out of here, gentlemen, what are you reading?
I haven't read anything in the last week or so. I need to catch up.
I just downloaded Silver Surfer Rebirth. It's on issue 4 right now. I need to catch up on my Silver Surfer, man. He's been quiet for a while, so it's a new
I know that's your
series.
guy.
Animate the cover at least looks like some classic Silver Surfer, so should be interesting. Can't wait to see. Looks like he's fighting everybody from Marvel to Thanos, so
Love it.
see what he's up to.
I'm gonna go with a favorite, X-Men Red. The previous issue was
Woo!
someone beat the unbeatable in the most G way possible.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say I called it. I don't know if I could spoil it, but
I'm gonna read it.
I knew Thor was gonna beat that little Summers boy's ass, bro.
Yeah, there was no way.
There was no way, yo. He's a Rocco OG, bro. He has a rock bro. Listen, there's no way that little shit face was gonna beat him, no matter how powerful he is, bro. But then Magneto came through with the.
Yeah, Vulcan's a bitch too. So
yeah, and then he took his powers, and then he beat his ass. He was like, "All right, so you think I don't need my powers?" I was like, "So you think I need my powers? All right, let me just beat your face in."
Oh man, finally watched the first episode of Superman and Lois.
That shit is fantastic.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
I'm waiting to get, because this is one of those shows I want to watch with Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I really think she'd appreciate the shit out of this.
It's really good.
We just finished watching this show called Why Women Kill on Paramount Plus, and that shit is dope. Why Women
Kill.
Kill,
trying to get me to watch that show, bro.
I think it's fucking dope, man. I really think, Brandon, I think you'd enjoy it too. There's a lot of
I'll add it to my list.
So definitely read X-Men Red. Magneto put his dick on the table, but
big time.
What Roberto DaCosta did was probably the most impressive thing I think that's happened all year. He beat the unbeatable, dog. And for someone who never loses her cool,
he said that you could win by losing.
Yeah,
tried to tell her that.
He warned. That's the funny thing about it. He warned her.
Mm-hmm.
He warned her that this was going to happen.
That was so cold, bro. That was cold-blooded, man.
He was like, "Okay, I bet you." I was like, "Yo,
cold-blooded."
Mm-hmm. If you want to beat the unbeatable, bet that they'll lose.
Yeah.
Or some shit. I don't even know what he did. He bet that they'll win. Some shit. I don't even know. Bet that they'll win.
He was like, "Okay, cool. I'll bet you that the Rocco dude who was fighting." He goes, "Okay, I bet you he I bet you he loses. I bet you he wins.
Who wins? Yeah."
And she was like, "What?
Then, no, you ass." Honestly, I don't think he would have had to do that. To be honest with you,
I don't think he did either. But why? But you know what I mean. But if you can
that.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the phrase. Mm-hmm. And then Magneto dropped his dick on the table and just flat out just crushed it. He just came in and dropped his helmet on it and crushed him.
Magneto's a monster.
And before the dude could say, "I quit," I submit, Magneto just killed him. I'm like, y'all gotta stop. We all it's funny because Magneto's one of the few people I think that everyone knows who he is. You know what I mean? Everyone says his name with respect.
And now we have two of the Brotherhood on the Rocco Council. Mm-hmm. And then we have potentially Legion could potentially become the mutant god. So,
oh shit, we didn't even. Oh yeah, and Knights of X.
Knights of
Legion of
X. Legion of X. Yep.
Knights. I'm not reading Legion of X. I read issue 1. I bought issue 2. And
Wait, I'm not. You're not reading Legion of X or Knight of X?
Knights of X. I'm not reading.
Okay. All right.
I bought issue 1.
Yeah.
And I really like Shatterstar, but I don't give. It's not enough to make me read this shit.
There's too many good books. There's so many good X-Men books right now.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I can miss one. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to BBN, the Bald Black Nerds. I almost said I almost went CCBN. Thank you for listening to the Bald Black Nerds
podcast.
CCBN. Brandon, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, that cool black nerd BLK. Chilling.
Super Bowl. Where can they find you?
In your mama's kitchen making waffles.
Ass naked with nothing but an apron on.
Listen, Jody.
You can find me on Old Man Wade Com on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also find Super Woke, myself, and sometimes Brandon on the Old Man Wade Show. Sponsored by, me, because I pay for the shit.
Also me.
Yeah, also sponsored by Hobby. I said you.
I just wanted my flowers.
Yeah, this nigga, man. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. And as always, be excellent to each other. I don't have any comic book quotes. Actually, no, I do have a comic book quote. Deadpool to Thor. I find you very attractive.
Jeez.
Peace, everybody. All right. That was